Good evening, I'm Camelia and this is KiniNews. It's budget day and Parliament has not been dissolved yet. Expectedly, it's Malaysia's biggest budget ever because it's something you'd expect to grow every year. So how is the government going to spend some of your money next year? Let's find out.
Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz tabled Budget 2023 in the Dewan Rakyat today. Budget 2023, which is 372.3 billion ringgit, is the largest on record, up to 12% from the previous year. It is the second budget to be tabled under the Ismail Sabri Yaakob administration. While tabling the budget today, Tengku Zafrul said the government expects a GDP growth of 4.5% to 5% next year. Tengku Zafrul also announced a new category of recipients for the Bantuan Keluarga Malaysia under next year's budget.
Isi rumah berpendapatan bulanan kurang RM2,500 dan menanggung 5 orang anak atau lebih layak menerima BKM sebanyak RM2,500. Ini ialah kategori baru sebagai usaha kerajaan meringankan beban keluarga yang menyara ramai anak.
Meanwhile, he announced that households of the same income bracket that have between 1 to 4 children will receive between 1,000 to 2,000 ringgit. Households earning between 2,005 to 5,000 ringgit qualify for an amount between 500 and 1,250 ringgit, depending on the number of children in the household. For single senior citizens and singles in general, they can receive 600 and 350 ringgit respectively, depending on their income. Single parents will also receive an additional 500 ringgit cash aid in 2023. Zafrul said 7.8 billion ringgit had been allocated for BKM, which will benefit 8.7 million people.
Now that Budget 2023 has been tabled in Parliament, what happens if Parliament is dissolved before it passes the lower house? We asked Tengku Zafrul, this is what he had to say.
Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz told reporters after tabling Budget 2023 that the new government will have to retable a fresh budget if the general election is called before it's passed in Parliament. He said this would not be the first time something like that has happened. He explained that it happened in 1999 when the then Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad dissolved Parliament. However, he explained that this does not defeat the purpose of the preparation for Budget 2023 by the ministry.
So basically that question should be posed to the Prime Minister. But in terms of what will happen is that, let me just make sure that it's quite clear so that you all understand the process, right? Because this has happened before in the year 1999. So if you refer back to what happened in 1999, budget was presented. There was a dissolution in the 1999. Then the budget was then presented again. So that was what will happen if there is a dissolution. But again, that question should be posed to the Prime Minister.
Zafrul explained it will not be a redundancy for the Finance Ministry to table the budget again after it held over 200 engagement sessions, gone through 250 memorandums and 120,000 proposals by the general public to come out with Budget 2023.
Budget 2023 contains some goodies, and one group to perhaps benefit the most are civil servants. Special assistance, Raya aid, and pay increments, to name a few.
Civil servants are set to receive up to 2,500 ringgit more next year as a result of financial aid from the government. Among others, civil servants from grades 11 to 56 will get an additional monthly wage increment of 100 ringgit starting January. This translates to 1,200 ringgit by year end. This is on top of their scheduled yearly wage increments. In addition, civil servants grade 56 and below will get 700 ringgit in special assistance from the government. Also, 600 ringgit in Aidil Fitri aid will be paid to civil servants in March. Ramadan, which precedes Aidil Fitri, is expected to start on March 23rd. The special wage hikes and special payouts are among a slew of benefits for the public sector announced by Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz today. Meanwhile, the government will also raise the investment ceiling for the Bumiputra Exclusive Unit Trust Fund, Amanah Saham Bumiputra, and ASB2 to 300,000 ringgit.
The M40 group, often left out of most financial aid, has something to celebrate next year: tax cuts.
The M40 group will receive a 2% reduction on income tax collection under Budget 2023. Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz said those earning between 50,001 to 70,000 ringgit per year will be paying 11% in income tax instead of 13%. For those earning 70,001 to 100,000 ringgit per year, their new income tax rate is 19% instead of 21%.
Dengan layanan khas cukai pendapatan ini, penjibatan cukai kepada kumpulan pertengahan adalah lebih sehingga RM1,000 dan untuk kumpulan teratas adalah sehingga RM250. Ini bermakna dianggarkan RM800 juta tersedia sebagai lebihan pendapatan yang boleh dibelanjakan.
Meanwhile, Zafrul also announced that those earning below 100,000 ringgit per year will be getting an e-wallet top-up of 100 ringgit next year. He added that the e-Pemula initiative for youths would continue with a 200 ringgit e-wallet top-up for those aged 18 to 20 or part-time workers aged 21 and above.
Let's talk PTPTN. Don't expect it to be abolished, but the government is offering discounts to those who choose to fully settle their loans.
The government has announced discounts on the repayment of loans under the Higher Education Loan Fund, or PTPTN. When tabling Budget 2023 today, Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz said discounts will be offered on repayments of the loan over a 6-month period beginning November 1st this year. He said borrowers who graduate with first-class honours will be exempted from repaying their PTPTN loans.
Pertama, diskaun 20% atas baki hutang untuk penyelesaian penuh pinjaman. Kedua, diskaun 15% untuk bayaran sekurang-kurangnya 50% daripada baki hutang dalam sekali bayaran. Dan ketiga, diskaun 15% untuk bayaran secara potongan gaji atau debit terus berjadual.
You're probably wondering how opposition lawmakers are reacting to Budget 2023. We talked to a couple in Parliament. This is what they had to say.
Well, definitely as expected. This is definitely an election budget. Because election is just around the corner. Definitely the budget has to be pro-rakyat. And we have seen that there are many goodies being spread around on all segments of the society, from the middle class to the lower income group, to civil servants, and tax cuts to the middle income group. We expected that this is definitely the government will try to utilize the budget as their election manifesto. This is to be expected. But I think the most important question right now is that when is the election? And that certainty must be provided by the Prime Minister. And I call upon the Prime Minister to provide leadership. Do not play games with election date.
Bajet yang telah diperuntukkan untuk kedua-dua kementerian pendidikan dan pengajian tinggi perlu dilihat semula dan perlu dinilai semula, kerana kita perlu letakkan satu matlamat utama, memulihkan pendidikan di peringkat negara kita, di peringkat kebangsaan, dan ini memerlukan usaha komprehensif dan bersepadu, dan ini tidak terlihat jelas di dalam belanjawan kali ini.
Now, let's not forget the political drama unraveling between UMNO and PN. An UMNO leader today expressed disappointment over the action of several PN ministers.
UMNO Secretary General Ahmad Maslan described the action of 12 Perikatan Nasional ministers as inappropriate. This is after they sent a letter to the King to express their objection against any move to hold the 15th general election this year. Ahmad also claimed the move by Bersatu and PAS ministers indirectly showed they had no confidence in the leadership of Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob. He added that the government's legitimacy has been eroded from 100% previously to 60% now. He further explained that the letter should not have been publicized, as such a problem should be discussed in the cabinet. Ahmad was commenting on the minister's letter to the Agong, urging His Majesty not to agree to any proposal to dissolve Parliament. PN ministers argued that the focus should be on ensuring the people's welfare.
Rafizi Ramli's allegations over a defense contract has caught the attention of Ikmal Hisham, and a police report has been lodged against the PKR leader.
Deputy Defence Minister Ikmal Hisham Abdul Aziz has lodged a police report against PKR Deputy President Rafizi Ramli. This is after Rafizi allegedly slandered the Deputy Minister in connection with a 854 million ringgit defence contract controversy. In a statement, Ikmal said the report was lodged by his senior private secretary at the Dangwangi District Police Headquarters today. Ikmal said Rafizi's claim was slander and a politically motivated lie to defame his good name. According to him, as the Deputy Defence Minister, he does not have the power to influence or choose the company for any of the ministry's acquisitions. This is because the Defence Ministry has stipulated that every acquisition and its fittings have to go through a detailed work process. On top of that, it has to be approved by the respective consumers, such as the Armed Forces, Navy, and the Air Force.
And now we have two sponsored segments brought to you by the Selangor International Business Summit and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, respectively.
Officiated by Tengku Amir Shah Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Sultan Al-Hajj, the Crown Prince of the Selangor International Business Summit, SIPS 2022, has once again returned to continue its role as one of ASEAN region's biggest business summit. The 4 days event has started since October 6 with a total of 906 booths from 623 companies and participants coming from 24 countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main objective in organizing SIBS is to gather manufacturers, traders, importers, investors, and other stakeholders in a single event and to introduce Selangor as the gateway to ASEAN.
By introducing Selangor as the gateway to ASEAN, Selangor Executive Councillor for Industry and Trade Dato' Teng Chang Kim said the target for this year is 350 million ringgit worth of negotiated transaction value.
With a total of 262 international and domestic buyers that we are hosting, together with other trade visitors returning to Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre for the next 4 days, I'm confident they will be reaching our 2022 target of 350 million ringgit worth of negotiated transaction value.
Another 21 Malaysians who fell victim to job scams were rescued and returned home yesterday from Cambodia and Laos. Out of 401 reported cases, a total of 273 Malaysian victims have been rescued so far, including those still in detention centres. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Saifuddin Abdullah, has suggested that those who have been mistreated should report the case locally to facilitate the investigation of the police in our country, and when publishing any statement, to be careful with the use of words so as not to affect the bilateral relationship between the two countries.
Bagi mana-mana mangsa yang merasakan bahawa mereka didera dan sebagainya, adalah lebih baik laporan polis dibuat di tempat negara kejadian itu berlaku, kerana ini akan memudahkan pihak polis kita untuk menjalankan siasatan lanjutan. Jadi perkara ini sangat mustahak untuk membantu siasatan. Saya juga ingin menasihatkan supaya kita lebih berhati-hati sekiranya membuat apa-apa kenyataan berkaitan dengan isu-isu begini. Sebaik-baiknya sekiranya kita ada maklumat, sampaikan kepada pihak polis. Itu lebih berhasil. Kerana kita bimbang kalau kenyataan itu dibuat, pertama dia boleh mengganggu siasatan oleh pihak polis, dan yang keduanya kalau tersilap bahasa yang digunakan, dia boleh mengganggu hubungan kita dengan negara-negara yang berkaitan.
Foreign Affairs Minister Saifuddin Abdullah is also mentioned that the Malaysia government and special committee are working closely with neighbouring countries on this issue.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimelia. Thanks for watching.